This is episode 39 of All About the Birds. Johnny Ulecka, Jeff Warner, Phil Stiefel, and we are joined by Scotty Talks Philly Sports. Going to break down the Eagles. Got a huge NFL preview show tonight. So, just diving in.
Well, a lot to talk to. I'll say, of course, we'll talk about the NFL as a whole. We'll dive into the Eagles season on what we expect from them from the 2020 year, our predictions on how far they will go. Also, we'll discuss the Eagles Washington game, preview that.
Hey, don't say there is. Don't say.
I almost said it's going to be difficult for anyone. I would say we've been used to that name for so long. For us not to use that word, it's going to be difficult. I'm sure we're going to slip up a few times, but I would say if we want to dive right into it, like you said, as the Philadelphia Eagles go into the 2020 season, some expectations of division title, some expectations. Some people think Super Bowl, some people miss playoffs. They are coming off a division title, going 9-7 last year with a first-round exit to the Seattle Seahawks. I'll say a very weird off-season for the Philadelphia Eagles this past year. I would say they draft Jalen Reagor in the first round. They signed Darius Slay, the helper, and Javon Hargrave, the help bolster the defense. You have something.
You're good.
Okay, I heard feedback. I didn't know what that was. Oh,
I had to lie.
But I'll say a lot to dive into. So I don't know who wants to start. I was saying.
Well, first off, again, I was trying to share this out. I wasn't paying super close attention, so you might have covered it. But we are live on Facebook. We are live on Twitter. We are live on our new YouTube page. So everybody, make sure you're subscribing on YouTube, following on Twitter, following on Facebook. Definitely put the comments. I've already missed. There's 3 comments already lined up here already. So now we could go diving right on in to everybody's talk there. That's you guys. That's where you guys jump in.
I'm tweeting. I would say our page out there.
I'll start,
Johnny. You start. So the train wreck already.
It took a whole 2 minutes to get to the train wreck.
The big news is something I really want to talk about is what Doug said in regards to Lane Johnson, and he's still day to day. Now, that just really concerns me. I don't know if he's going to be available Sunday. And if that's the case, then what? Do they go Jack Driscoll? Are they moving Pryor over to right tackle? Are they having Herbig as the guard? It's just that I don't know. It really makes me think, because they also signed Richard Rodgers for their third tight end. So they're going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets, which means they're going to be helping out the tackles as well.
Oh, wow. 3 tight end sets, too. A lot of 13 personnel that Doug talked about and imposing into their offense as well. But I'll say, honestly, going to this season, that's one of the biggest concerns for the Philadelphia Eagles. And one of the biggest unknowns is that the Eagles left them well out to dry when it comes to the offensive line depth. And we realized that when Brandon Brooks was lost for the season, they had to re-sign Jason Peters, and then we know who was going to play left tackle, which I would say, thankfully, we don't know what happened. We don't know if JP got his money or he had a change of heart, Carson talked to him, whatever. But I would say Doug Peterson did announce this week that JP will be the starting left tackle on Sunday, which means that Matt Pryor will most likely, from the look at camp, will be the starting right guard for the offensive line. And that's going to be the key for this season. I would say the one thing the Philadelphia Eagles the last couple of years, I would say, has been the durability of Carson Wentz. That's the one flaw that he gets a lot, is him getting injured too much. And they have to keep him upright. They have to make sure they protect up front. They have to make sure, especially blocking his blind side. So I'll say that's one of the big concerns this coming season, and that's going to be one of the keys to their success. Otherwise, this whole big play action, big play threat with Deshaun and Jalen Reagor and building that big deep threat passing game, it's going to be nothing, because if Carson doesn't have time to deliver the football, which one thing that we brought up in the past is Carson
stays healthy.
I'll say Carson doesn't have that internal time clock. If he has pressure, if he's a guy that has feels that has hang on to the ball way too long. So that's going to be one thing he's going to need to work on this season. Phil, Scotty, John, any thoughts? I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, as Polo David says when he checks in here, if he stays healthy, which I hope. You know me, I'm a Wentz guy. Wentz is elite, in my opinion. Hashtag Wentz is elite. I've been using it nonstop, and we'll get into predictions on this. There we go. I love it. I love it. I don't doubt Wentz's durability. I don't doubt that him being healthy. I don't do that stuff. I know that Wentz is going to be there, and he's going to carry this team. I think it's a huge deal that Lane Johnson practiced even in a limited fashion today, and same thing with Jalen Reagor. So their injuries are not as serious as we expect or we believe they were. Miles Sanders practicing. I don't believe they're as serious. So I'm still expecting Lane Johnson to be out there week 1. Jalen Reagor, maybe not, but I expect Lane Johnson to be there, and I expect Jack Driscoll to be the backup right away in that position. If Lane Johnson is pulling a Jason Peters and only playing 75% of the snaps, Jack Driscoll is going to be the guy that's going to be filling in there, and Matt Pryor will be starting at right guard. It's pretty obvious in my opinion.
Sky?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just to follow up on Phil. I mean, I definitely think if Lane Johnson is not able to go on Sunday, it's got to be Jack Driscoll. Matt Pryor, you don't want to have two. With Jack Driscoll, at least he has college experience, at tackle. You're throwing Matt Pryor out there at tackle, and then you're bringing in Nate Herbig. I just think that's too much shifting around. Matt Pryor has experience at the right guard. Jason Peters, he's staying over at left tackle, obviously. But if Lane Johnson, which that is a huge if, man, and that was the worst news, even worse than Miles. I think Miles is going to be good to go. He's been giving us all the signals that he's good to go. I'm really worried about Lane Johnson. And to you guys' point, Carson Wentz, he's already struggled with the injuries. I know that none of them are correlated. He's already struggled with the injuries. And for him to just be put at more risk by, just an underwhelming offensive line is not great news. And to see Brandon Brooks and Andre Dillard go down so early in the season already, it's not a great way to start, man. It's not a great start to the season if we're being totally realistic.
You're up against a team in Washington where their strength is their defensive line. Ryan Kerrigan, you have Chase Young on the other side, you have Jonathan Allen, you have Matt Ioannidis, you have players, even Montez Sweat and Ryan Anderson. They have a plethora of interior and outside rushers that
they know how to get to the quarterback. They know how to get pressure on it. I'll say that's the one strength of their defense, and especially with Ron Rivera and Jack Del Rio, with their defensive minds, they're going to try to cause some havoc with the Eagles against the Eagles' makeshift offensive line, which we'll dive into a little bit later. But I'll say that's going to be one of the big matchups with Philadelphia this year. But I'll say diving into the rest of the season, what is your expectations? I would say, are you guys expecting Super Bowl? I would say, and that's the one thing I would say from Philadelphia fan base this year. I would say every single offseason, you always get the chatter and the buzz of this team I feel can go to the Super Bowl. You're not hearing a lot of that this season. You're not hearing that from the fan base. You're not talking. I'll say you're not having the expectations from a lot of people from the fans. I feel this offseason. I don't know if it's just because we haven't had an offseason with the preseason and we haven't been able to see them, but.
I know we're kind of grouping it now into our season previews and our team previews, but I think the Eagles go 10-6 this year. But see, the thing with the 10-6 prediction, I bounced around with a couple different ideas. The thing with all these comments popping up, they're just throwing me off nonstop. There's so many.
I have access. I didn't realize I had access, so I'm posting some while you're talking.
So the thing with a 10-6 record for the Eagles is that I feel that the NFC, not the AFC, I have totally different opinions there, but on the NFC, that outside the 49ers, there is no other clear-cut team that is going to win 12 or 14 games. There is a lot of teams that are going to win 10 games, maybe 11, and that's it. I can group the Vikings, the Saints, the Seattle, the Packers, the Cowboys, the Buccaneers, and the Eagles all into one group where it's going to bounce back and forth, and any of those teams could win their division or make the playoffs. And honestly, once you make the playoffs, as long as you're healthy, you can make a run to the Super Bowl. We've had 9-win teams make the Super Bowl before. So I think the NFC is a lot closer than people are giving it credit for.
Especially they're adding the extra playoff team. So only the number 1 seed gets the bye. So now they have, an extra playoff team. So anything can happen. So a team, who possibly goes 9-7, even 8-8, all depending on what the other teams do. A team who's 8-8 can wind up sneaking into the playoffs. So, yeah, I don't know. I understand what you're saying. I think there's going to be another team or two that has 12 wins or 11 wins.
I'm just not impressed with any of the other teams with their offseason and what they've done. I mean, and the 49ers, even themselves, outside of their defense, I don't think their offense is great enough.
You have to look at other teams like Washington, like the Giants, even teams like, Carolina, who in the NFC side aren't going to be that good. Some teams that are still rebuilding and trying to find their way. And some of the teams with new coaching staffs, they're going to struggle just because they've had that time to, get the system down. They haven't been doing a lot of hitting. Of course, there's no preseason. So I think there's going to be the teams who are going to struggle. They're going to have lower win totals, which I think you'll get to another team. I think there's going to be two teams that with 11 wins and one team with 12 wins in the NFC. That's what I have. But
I'll say the Green Bay Packers have gone 13-3 the last 2 seasons. So
no, I got them 8-8.
So
I think the Packers, I literally have outside the 49ers, 7 other teams at that 9-7, 10-5, 10-6, 11-5 record because they're all just going to be back there. Scotty?
I mean, I got a couple teams up there that I really like. I really like the Seahawks, honestly. I really like the Saints. I think the Saints is another team that could be up there with the I feel like the 49ers and the Seahawks, it's going to be between those two, you know what I mean, in that division, and they're going to duke it out. And one of those teams, I think, will get to that 11 or 12 win mark. And then I also believe the Saints with that NFC South. I don't look at the Bucs as like a true contender like everybody else has them listed. I think they're really overhyped.
The GOAT.
Nope. GOAT overhyped. I agree.
Hey, Tom Brady is the GOAT, but it just doesn't. I don't know. What I saw last year, I have to see it to believe it, man.
I'll say Gronk and I'll say that wide receiving core with Godwin and Mike Evans. I'll say
Mike Evans isn't even playing.
I'll say right now, but I'll say once he's back out there, and I'll say their defense might hold them back. I'll say I agree. I don't think they're too much of a Super Bowl contender like some people, but I think they at least make the playoffs, especially with the extra team. But diving back to the Eagles a little bit, I'll say my expectations are, I know you guys are a little bit higher on that. I know Scotty mentioned before the show he feels 10-6, 11-5. I just don't know where you're getting. I'll say 10-6 I can see. 11 wins, I just don't know where you can see. I'll say, as I wrote on our website, aatbirds.com, with my NFL season predictions, going down the schedule, and I just don't really see we get 11 wins. Right now, I have them currently at 9-7 with a wild card spot, losing in the second round of the playoffs. I'll say that I feel they might get off to a little bit of a hot streak, which some of that can change. But some of these teams that they play, I just don't know if they're better than. I'll say the teams like the Niners, the Steelers on the road, the Ravens, who are a Super Bowl contender this season. The Seahawks always give us trouble. Packers on the road. Saints have a dynamic offense. I'll say that's a game that, granted, it's at home, but that's going to be a good game to watch. And of course, our divisional games with the Cowboys, Giants, and Washington. I would say no matter how bad some of those teams are, they still always give us fits. And there's always the Eagles always find a game or two here and there every single season that you think before the year that they're definitely going to win, and they fall flat on their face. So I would say just right now the amount of injuries that this team has and a lot of unknowns on the offensive side and the defensive side of football. Unfortunately, right now as today stands, a couple of days till the start of the season, I have them at 9-7 with the wild card spot.
Yeah, like I said, 10-6. The games I have them losing to the Cowboys once this year. Yeah. I have them losing to the Cardinals, the 49ers, the Packers, the Ravens, and the Saints, and that's it. Everybody's talking about, I think, Scotty, you said Seattle and 49ers battling out. There's a lot of hype around the Cardinals. Now, I don't buy them as the Kyler Murray MVP hype train and them being super contenders, but they're not going to win 4 or 5 games as they used to. They're going to win 8 or 9 games also this year. So they're a team that really is scaring a lot of people. And, Jeff, you said the Steelers. I'm not buying the Steelers hype either this year. Ben Roethlisberger coming back from, injury. Juju barely played the last couple of years. James Conner barely played last year. I don't buy that offense. They might be better than the worst offense in the league last year. But outside of that, I don't buy them being that good.
And for me, like I bounce back and forth. And 9-7 or 10-6. I kept going back and forth, and I settled on 10-6. And the reason I settled on 10-6 is I think the Eagles win the first 3 games.
Yep.
And then after that, we'll be 7-6. So I have 10 wins, and I think it's gonna be them in Dallas. battling for the number one spot in that division. I don't think Washington and the Giants are really going to be too tough of a test.
Yeah, barring some type of injury majorly to the Eagles or the Cowboys, it's going to be a 2-team race.
Yeah. And I actually have the Cowboys finishing at 10-6 also. So it's going to come down to, they're both going to be 1-1 against each other. It's going to come down to the Cowboys' other games, which I didn't write down which games I had them losing, so I can't calculate the conference record.
Divisional record at that point, and then after that, it's common opponent.
Yeah. So I don't know. It'll be interesting how it comes down to, but I think both teams make the playoffs either way, whether it's as the division or the wild card.
Talking about Eagles and Washington, some of the matchups. If each of us want to give like a matchup to look at, I can start. The one that I'm really looking at and one I wrote about on AETBirds.com is Darius Slay versus McLaurin. And Washington played Detroit last year, and Slay went up against McLaurin. McLaurin is, of course, the most talented receiver on Washington's roster, and has the speed, has the route running skills. So,
he gave us a lot of fits last year. I was saying 2 games last season, he had 10 catches for like 250 yards.
Yeah, and that 70-yard touchdown in the first game. So
that's going to be a big matchup I'm going to watch. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to follow McLaurin all game. I know Schwartz is I guess he may not just want to say, hey, he's going to follow him and kind of just, let Washington know he's just kind of playing it off. So, they don't account for that. But the Slay versus McLaurin is going to be big, because if you could shut down Terry McLaurin, what else do you have? I know they're going to be doing a running back by committee, and they named J.D. McKissick as their starting running back, who basically, when he played in Seattle, was just a scat back out of the backfield, basically a pass receiver. So, they have him, they have Bryce Love, they have Peyton Barber. There are not names that are going to move the needle, but if you could shut down McLaurin, which, Slay, I understand people look at he got burnt by rookies and all this, and like Phil's mentioned before, all that practice is tailored for the receivers. You can't jam, certain things. If Slay can shut down McLaurin, that offense isn't going to do a whole lot. They don't have the tight ends. The running back committee isn't the best. Eagles should be able to stop the run. So that's one of the main focuses of it is Slay versus McLaurin. What do you guys think? What are the top matchups that you guys are looking at?
I mean, obviously that one, and there's the obvious one we can get into in a second, the offensive line versus their great pass rush. But the one I'm looking forward to the most is probably the funnest one, and that's our wide receivers, Deshaun Jackson, who last year, his first game of the year, 8 catches, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns against this team. Washington went out and upgraded their cornerbacks by going out and getting Ronald Darby. And now Ronald Darby gets to get run by Deshaun Jackson. I'm so excited about that. That's my one that I'm looking forward to. I just want to see Ronald Darby get burnt by another team. So that's all I got on matchups. You can talk about the other ones.
Yeah, man. So, for me personally, it's kind of to touch on what Phil said. The offensive line, defensive line of the Eagles, or the offensive line of the Eagles versus the defensive line of the Redskins. Specifically, Chase Young versus whichever side he's lining up on, whether it's Lane Johnson's side, Jack Driscoll, which is like a huge part of the matchup difference, or whether it's on the other side against Jason Peters, which would be, that's what we would probably want at this point with Lane Johnson being so unsure. But just in general, protecting Carson and turnovers, to what Jeff was talking about earlier, Carson does not have that time clock, and hopefully he adjusted over the offseason. And don't get me wrong, Phil, I'm a Carson elitist.
I'm wearing my McNabb jersey today. I'm saving the winter stuff for game day.
But if you're going to criticize Carson Wentz about anything, aside from injuries, it would be holding on to the ball and fumbling the football. So those turnovers can get pretty costly, especially those sack strips. He actually got sack stripped against the Redskins, which we thought maybe our season was over last year when that happened. You know what I mean? That was in a huge point in the game. So a lot of it is going to be Carson, not holding on to the ball too long, as well as those matchups on the outside. That exterior line of the Redskins is dangerous. And if we're smart, we'll protect Carson. We won't do, like Jeff said, we're not going to have time if our offensive line is beat up for these deep shots that we are dreaming of right now. And just want to put for a point about my record prediction. I am the most optimistic Eagles fan that you will probably meet. But in reality, I do see it, 9-7, 8-8, all the way up to 11-5. A lot of it depends on injuries, the health of the team. And, when you eliminate that, they are teetering right there at that 9-7 mark. I would agree with you on that. I just have optimism that they can get to that 10-6. I don't think we will lose to all the good teams in the NFL. You know what I mean? No. I do think we will drop one that we're not supposed to. I do agree there.
We always win one. We always win
you
one.
You can count on it.
We're all green. Like the Packers game or the Ravens game is a loss. Well, we might win. Like when we drop that game to the Redskins or the Giants, we might in turn win one of those. So it all balances out, in the end.
I definitely understand where you guys are coming from.
Who scored the first touchdown?
I do get it.
Peanut wants to know who's scoring the first touchdown.
It's Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders?
I say Miles.
No one wants to call out Jalen Hurts as the first touchdown of the season. No. just kidding.
No, I'm gonna go off a little bit. I'm gonna go John Hightower scores the first touchdown.
Ooh, that's bold. You could probably get some really good odds on FanDuel Sportsbook on that one.
Try a plus 5,000 right there.
Yeah. Hey, throw $1 on it. You never know.
I'm going Ertz for that first touchdown of the year, man.
Carson
he deserves
Wentz
it.
on a rollout quarterback sneak or whatever and all. He's taking it in.
In a tight spot, man.
Yes. Yeah. Touching on that though, like we said, with all these injured, you might not see that 8 for 154 from Deshaun Jackson in this game because, like you said, Wentz isn't going to have that time. So expect big games from Miles Sanders, Corey Clement. If they call up Holyfield, which is what I've seen as a rumor as being one of their practice squad call-ups. Those are the guys. The Ertz and the Goddards are going to have huge games this week. That's where there's going to be a lot of dinking and dunking. You're going to see a lot of slants, a lot of bubble screens. If Killins was here for Johnny, you would see him out there as the wide receiver bubble screen. So that's where this game's going to go. You're not going to see the air, like no offense to your pick on John Hightower. You're not going to see that type of game this week with the injuries, unless Lane Johnson pulls a miracle and is 100%, which is doubtful at this point.
But the one thing I want to mention is the Eagles named their captains. And the reason I want to mention it is one of the captains is Craig James, who was on the show earlier in the year, and someone that I mentioned was going to make the team last episode, and Sidney Jones and or Rasul Douglas either traded or cut.
You said traded. You never said cut.
Yeah.
Traded.
Still not on the team.
I'm excited for Sidney Jones to be in Jacksonville. He had a lot of opportunities to go on practice squads, but chose to go somewhere where he could play with no pressure. I still make the pick of him in that second round in 2017 every time. A guy with his talent, you got to take that shot. But yeah, Craig James, that's huge for him. I love that, seeing his name on there. Really shows what kind of camp he had to step up to be given that captain spot.
Well, he played pretty well last year. I would say when he was given the opportunity. Look at that Green Bay game. I would say he helped seal that victory. So
and he started. He played I think 56 snaps in the Jets game.
Yeah, so I would say he's shown that when given the opportunity, he can go out there and play some ball. So I would say he provides us some depth with our secondary that I would say is a big question mark this season. But opposite of Darius Slay, Vontae Maddox being hurt, and Nicole Roby-Coleman and the rest of the guys, LeBlanc. It's going to be interesting to see how opposing offenses attack the secondary because Jalen Mills, he's getting his first start at safety on Sunday. So I'll say that's one of the big concerns. I'll say on the offensive side, it's definitely the offensive line. Defense is probably your secondary, especially when it's a passing league and you're going up against a lot of these guys in 3-4 wide receiver sets. A lot of great quarterbacks that we're going to be going up against this season. It's going to be interesting to see how Jim Schwartz finds ways to slow down these prolific offenses.
I want to ask Jeff a question if he was surprised by one of the captain names, because me and you both bashed him a couple times now for being selfish. Jason Peters over Lane Johnson was named the captain. And to me, I mean, a lot of it might have been just media rumors about him wanting more money or he won't go to left tackle.
He wanted more money.
Literally, as soon as he was as soon as he was agreed to go play left tackle, all of a sudden he's a captain. I just don't. I think that's his selfishness. I just don't get why he was chosen over Lane Johnson or someone else on the team, or just you don't need 8 captains. You can have 4, 5, 6 captains. So you don't need 8. So
they had to make him. That's probably the trade-off. We won't give you money, but we'll make you captain of the team. So I don't know. I'll say everyone in there. I would say everyone knows who the leaders in that locker room is. So I would say captains. Yeah, so you get to go out the coin toss in the middle of the field. Whoop-de freaking do. So whatever. But I would say, getting back to this season preview for the Eagles, I would say, I know we gave our record predictions, but how far do you have the Philadelphia Eagles going? I mentioned they'll probably get a wild card spot. In one of my bold predictions this season for this season on atbirds.com in my preview, I did mention I do see the Eagles winning a playoff game under Carson Wentz. So I feel he gets the monkey off the back finally. I don't see them going on a deep playoff run, though, unfortunately. I would say they're talented, but they're not talented. I would say there's too many holes and too many unanswered questions along this team, and they're one big injury away from a collapse. I would say we keep on bringing up the durability of Carson Wentz. If he goes down, we don't have Nick Foles to fill in. We have Jalen Hurts, Nate Sudfeld, and possibly Josh McCown if they bring him off the practice squad. The oldest practice squad player in the NFL history under this new COVID rule. So I'll say that's the one thing that I think Howie Roseman needs to really do a better job this offseason is providing depth for this football team, because they might have a lot of talent, but I would say it's one of those things. I understand next man up, but
the thing is, I want to go over our awards after we pause for the commercial. Go over that.
Are we pausing right now because we just started our season previews and our picks there?
Yeah, we can pause right now. Pause for a moment, and then we'll get into the season previews, and I have a couple that'll probably shock you guys.
What we do?
Pause it on there. You don't have to play it. No, don't play it. Just pause it.
We're still live, guys.
Live
TV, live YouTube, live Facebook. Mute your cameras.
Hey, just pause it and then restart another one.
But I said we're not going to sit here for 10 seconds and freaking allow that. You have to have something to play, like a video or something.
Guys, to the watchers out there, I'm sorry. This is what we put up with on a daily basis, or I do between these two. It just drives me nuts.
3, 2, 1. You happy now? You can't have these commercial breaks in between freaking live This ain't.
Your mic's still live.
Alrighty, we're gonna break down the NFL preview.
That was a total disaster.
What a freaking train wreck, dude!
Oh my god!
Radio, Jeff.
All right, so season breakdowns. Let's get right back into it. Jeff, you said that they're going to win a playoff game, right? They're going to go as the wild card, right?
I have the Eagles going as a wild card team. I'll say we breaking down the whole NFL, or are we just doing Eagles right now?
Unfortunately, because when I give you my prediction, it's going to kind of jump right into the NFL because I've got the Eagles written down as going to the Super Bowl. Because that is how even the NFC is to me. That's not a homer pick. That's me knowing that they are not. It's not. It's got two main reasons. I don't have them winning. I have them losing to the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to win back-to-back Super Bowls.
You want the Andy Eagles Super Bowl? I would say that's like everyone.
You know how great that would be for my business? My business would boom if it was an Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl. But it's not a. It is not a homer pick. I think the NFC is so close, and I think my next prediction, which you guys can't see this, is my MVP. Is Carson Wentz. Wentz is elite. I've stuck by that. I already put a few shekels on FanDuel Sportsbook that Wentz will win MVP. So I have no problem saying that. It's not a homer thing. It's me just believing in my picks. So, yeah, that's my Super Bowl and my MVP.
Here we go. So I have the Eagles winning one playoff game, but I have the New Orleans Saints as the NFC champ.
Are we completely going over the whole division, all the divisions? We're doing right the Super Bowl?
We're doing the Super Bowl.
So I did all this freaking work.
I didn't tell you to do it.
I thought we were doing the whole NFL. What's the point of an NFL prediction? We're just going to dive right into the freaking Super Bowl. The freaking train wreck. We need better communication on this plan.
Scotty, welcome.
I'm not getting mad. I was saying NFL preview prediction.
Scott, not you, Scotty. Scott Houston. What's up?
Oh, Jesus. Okay,
Scotty, this guy Scotty that just is checking in.
Give us.
This guy won some wing making award at some wing contest. He's coming on vacation with us, and I expect him to be making the wings on vacation for us. Just so you know.
Nice.
All right, so just getting all messed. So we'll start. AFC East. Who do you have division wise? Let's go. Break it down.
Division champs. I have Buffalo Bills.
Wrong.
What?
I said wrong.
Okay. I'll say Patriots are still a playoff team. I'll give you a playoff team. I'm not gonna dive into everything, so I'll just do that. Since you guys didn't do all as far as I did. But AFC, the playoff teams in the AFC have Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots, Baltimore Ravens, Steelers, Titans, Chiefs, and the Raiders. AFC Championship, Ravens over the Chiefs. NFC, I have Cowboys winning the East, Eagles as a wild card team, Packers in the North, Saints in the South, the Bucks as a wild card team, and then San Fran is the winner in the West. Seahawks as a wild card team, and as the championship, New Orleans Saints over the San Francisco 49ers. And for my Super Bowl, I have Lamar Jackson, as dynamic as he was last season. He's going to be my MVP, he's going to be Offensive Player of the Year, and winning the Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes as my MVP.
This is like looking at Jeff doing a book report or something during school with all his papers and stuff, reading it all.
Hey, let Scotty give us whatever predictions he wants to make here. You want to give us the Cincinnati Bengals record? You could do that. Whatever predictions you want.
Yeah, because nothing stops on this show.
I'm good on the Bengals, man. I don't need any of that in my life. But I will go ahead. I'll start with my Eagles prediction specifically, and then I'll just give you guys my my playoff teams. So Eagles, I'm right there with you guys as far as in reality. I think they will probably win one game and then probably lose in the divisional round. But they do have the capability, health pending, of course. They can contend. I truly believe that. I think our defense is going to be way better than last year. I think as beat up as we are so far, we're still not as beat up as we were at the end of last season. So that gives me a little bit of optimism in that aspect. As far as my AFC teams, just to start, I got the Ravens, Chiefs, Titans, Bills, Broncos, Steelers, Patriots. And in the NFC, I got the Saints, Seahawks, Eagles, Packers, 49ers, Bears, Cowboys.
Got the Bears in there?
Wow.
Mitchell Trubisky reawakening.
You must have
Nick Foles coming back?
Or something. You know, Nick Foles.
That defense is going to hold them down, man. I think they're going to get in. I don't think the Vikings are as good as they were last year either.
I agree with the Vikings. I would say Kirk Cousins. I would say I'm not a big fan of him, but adding in Ndakwe with Danielle Hunter with that defense, I would say, and you have one of the best backs in football with Dalvin Cook.
They do have a very good defense. I will give you that. Yeah.
I mean, you shut down Dalvin Cook, I would say you can't rely on Kirk Cousins, but if Dalvin Cook goes off, it's not going to matter. But I'll say I agree. I don't think the Vikings are much of a playoff team this season. And as for the Eagles, I'll say I just don't see them as contenders as you do. I'm not buying that hype just yet. I have all the faith in Carson. I just feel that they're just lacking something. I'll say we don't know how our linebacker is going to perform. The secondary, we have Darius Slay, but he gets hurt, or Avonte Maddox is a bust. I'll say Rodney McLeod's on the decline. Our offensive line completely breaks down. Who knows? JP gets hurt. I'll say, what do you do at left tackle then? So I'll say the one positive from this season, I do see Carson Wentz really coming to his own and proving everyone like Phil has said that he is an elite quarterback in this league. And I do feel Miles Sanders is going to get the recognition as well this season. I would say I know he's picking up some speed and getting some recognition from a lot of people around the league, but I feel this year he does make – I know he's striving for 2,000 yards from scrimmage. I feel he gets that. So those are two things, positive things from the Eagles this year, despite them not winning the Super Bowl.
So, Phil, do you want to go and put yours, and then I'll do mine?
Well, yeah, I pretty much already told you. I think the whole entire NFC is equal. So obviously I got the Vikings, the 49ers, Saints, Eagles, Seattle, Packers, and Cowboys. I got pretty much the same guys in the AFC, the Chiefs, Ravens, Patriots, Titans. I got the Patriots winning the division and the Bills doing the wild card, and I got the Texans and the Steelers. Obviously, I already said I got Chiefs, Eagles in my Super Bowl with the Chiefs winning back-to-back. First team to do it since the Patriots. I also have the Patriots making the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs, not the Ravens like everybody else. I got Wentz, obviously. Wentz is elite. He is my MVP this year. I've got Bill Belichick winning Coach of the Year.
I have him.
I have Cam Newton as the Comeback Player of the Year. I wrote an article for the Athletes Hub months ago saying when the season, it was like July, the original odds for Cam Newton to win the MVP was plus 6,600. And everybody thought I was nuts for saying you throw $10 at that. And now all of a sudden he's won the starting job. He's a leader in camp. All of a sudden people are switching and it was all Bills. Now it's Bills and Patriots. Who knows? Let me tell you something. Cam Newton is going to have a hell of a year there in New England, and he's going to finish in the top 5 in MVP voting this year. You watch it.
Super Cam.
Yeah. Superman's coming back this year. I'm all over the Cam hype.
Hey, I'll say he has a great coach. I'll say to finally teach him. So I'll say Belichick always finds ways to get the best from players that have been around this league. So I would say no doubt in Cam Newton. I would say he's probably I'm right there with you. I would say he was my Comeback Player of the Year as well. And then also Belichick was my Coach of the Year. As far as Defensive Player of the Year, I picked Nick Bosa. Offensive Rookie of the Year, unfortunately, I just feel with Amari Cooper and Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, CeeDee Lamb's going to come off as Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Defensive Rookie of the Year is going to be Chase Young.
All right, so what I have is in the AFC, the Bills, Patriots, Ravens, Steelers, Titans, Texans, and Chiefs. In the NFC,
pretty much all on the same page there.
Yeah, Eagles, Cowboys, Vikings, Bears. I agree with Scotty. I think by midseason, Nick Foles will take over and he'll win some games for them.
Hating on Aaron Rodgers.
Yes. Weapons. Devontae Adams is all he has, and Aaron Jones.
They drafted a rookie running back. They're going to rely on that run game.
No. Saints, Bucks, and San Fran, Arizona. I have Seattle finishing 3rd. And in my Super Bowl, I have Bills and the Saints. And I have the Bills winning it all.
What?
Sean McDermott. So my awards.
We got some wacko bold predictions. I thought my Eagle prediction was bad. The Bills? That's all.
The Bills.
Dude,
Stephon Diggs.
They're the Buffalo Bills for a reason.
They finally get their Super Bowl. That's what I'm going with. And my MVP is Patrick Mahomes. My Offensive Player of the Year is Christian McCaffrey, just because he's going to get loads of yards and everything playing in that. With Bridgewater in Carolina. Defensive Player of the Year, I have TJ Watt. I think with that Steelers defense.
Exactly, Rob. We agree.
It's okay. You have your predictions. I have mine. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Clyde Edwards-Helaire from KC, since he's going to be a starting running back. Defensive Player of the Year, Chase Young. Comeback Player of the Year, I'm going with you guys going with Cam Newton. And Coach of the Year, of course, Sean McDermott. So, I don't know. I have a good feeling.
I didn't mean to take it off there. We're gonna put that back up there. I'm telling you. Look,
that's
Rob Whitney from Last Out Media, the Eagles head writer for Last Out Media, checking in. He just got that title today, head writer for the Last Out. And he must be smoking something. Must be.
I'm gonna grab this audio, and when the Bills are eliminated week 10 for some reason, I'm gonna be replaying that audio nonstop. Anytime I wanted to mix that and create some type of video package for that.
You have, Josh Allen stepped up last year. Stephon Diggs, John Brown, Cole Beasley. They have a really, really good offensive line.
Cole Beasley. I would say no one has Cole Beasley.
What?
I would say yes, Stephon. Oh my God. And Josh Allen, I say he's coming to his own a little bit, but
look at that defense. The defense is one of the top in the league.
Go make the playoffs. They are not in the same level as the Kansas City Chiefs or the Baltimore Ravens.
The Baltimore Ravens lost to Tennessee last year.
Okay. Lamar Jackson's first playoff game. I would say, look at McNabb's first playoff game. They got shellacked by the freaking New York Giants. It happens. I would say with Lamar Jackson, he's going into another year under his belt. He has the experience. He has a Super Bowl winning coach. He has one of the best defenses in the league, and I would say they have a decent offense with Hollywood Brown and who's their running back right now?
Devin Singletary.
Is it
Zach Moss?
Zach Moss. That's what I was thinking of. But
let's transition some fantasy.
Yeah, let's talk fantasy. Hang on 1 second. We got to add somebody to the broadcast here. We're going to bring this. We're going to make it 5. You don't have to see our faces as close anymore. It's more spread out now. We're joined by Jason Sullivan, one of the writers, one of our fantasy insider writers from the All About the Birds website. Welcome to this train wreck, Jason.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Total train wreck you're joining here.
I heard the Buffalo Bills comment. I about fell out of my chair. Sorry. Yeah. Back now.
So we're gonna talk daily fantasy here. So the question is, I don't know about everybody else. I use DraftKings for most of my daily fantasy. So whenever I make picks, it's based off of their values and stuff like that. Jason, you want to shout out anybody that you or start with your top plays this week? Because we all know daily fantasy, it's a big deal. Everybody plays daily fantasy. Everybody's got their ways of doing it. You're in the loop. What are your plays this week, and what are your thoughts on this week for fantasy?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm all about the stacks. Obviously, that's the way you win. I think we all know that. My favorite stack this week is going to be a little bit aggressive in terms of pricing. I like Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, and Chris Godwin. That's a bit aggressive in terms of the pricing, but it leaves you with about $4,500. So I think you could still do something with the running back position. And I just love that game. I love Drew Brees in the dome. I love Michael Thomas in the dome. Fun fact, Michael Thomas last year averaged 28.9 points a game at home. So we want him in DK. We want him at home. And I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in that game.
I like that stat. I did not think of that. Yeah. I'm going stack 2. I'm feeling that this year I'm very uncomfortable week 1. We haven't had much of an off season. We don't know what certain teams that have had changes with their coaching staff or players, where they're really going to divvy up the passes and the runs and stuff. So my whole philosophy this week is go with what you know. And I like the Saints. The Saints would be one of those. But I'm going with Matt Ryan and the Falcons as a stack. Because, again, a guy that is consistent on fantasy. He's always scoring. I'm stacking. I'm not even taking Julio. I'm going with the cheaper stack. I'm going with Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, and their tight end Hayden Hurst, who he's their new big target. They're going to really target him a lot and often. I think the stacks are a great idea. Does any game for the other guys stand out to you that you'd want to stack anybody? Man, crickets. These guys don't. I
thought you were talking.
I said to you guys, do you have any stacks this week or any go-to games?
I would say I didn't get to dive too much into the fantasy plays this week, unfortunately. But I'll say one play I did some rummaging, and I'll say one play I say if you have Carson Wentz, play him this week. Since 2017 against the Redskins, Wentz has completed almost 70% of his passes, averaging about 292 yards a game with 14 touchdowns, with a passer rating of 111.1 in 5 games, which they're 5-0 against the Redskins in that span. So Carson obviously has some success against Washington in the past, and I'll say, like you said, Phil, you have to go with what you know, and with no offseason, I'll say that's one thing we know that Carson plays well against them. So
if you're gonna go Carson, you got to go Deshaun Jackson too.
Last year with
100%. 8 catches, 154 yards.
One year, I was a staffer on Deshaun though, because I thought the same thing. Yeah, last year he did well, but I would say in his history, I would say against the Redskins, I think it's 11 or 12 games. He's only eclipsed 100 yards twice in his career against the Redskins, I think, and he only has like 3 or 4 touchdowns. So
the reason why I would go Deshaun if you're going Wentz is because of the price. He is only $4,900 on DraftKings this week, and that is super, super, super low.
Yeah, that's a free spot.
You can really save some money to spend elsewhere. If you're going to go Wentz, you might as well go for that cheap option with Deshaun.
That's literally my mom right there in the comments.
Well, welcome to Scotty's mom.
That's hilarious.
Better than some of our other parents, so...
My mom don't check in. My wife don't check in. Nobody checks in on
my wife's not even watching. I don't think. Where the hell are they? So,
Johnny or Scotty, you got anything on fantasy?
It's not like what you guys do. It's just two kind of like fantasy matches people play. Not daily fantasy, but basically, fantasy in general. Two players that kind of always popped into my head. Now they're not like star players, but I have James Conner versus the Giants, just because the Giants' defensive line and their defense really isn't that good. I know that Mike Tomlin talked about Conner being the bell cow, being the guy to, put the load on his shoulders and go. And I feel like he could put up a lot of points against them. The other one, it's a rookie receiver, Henry Ruggs. Now I know Bryan Edwards is another rookie that for Las Vegas, but Carolina, Deontay Johnson or Troy Pride or Rasul Douglas, whoever they throw out at corner, I feel like Derek Carr and Ruggs, I feel like he's going to do a lot of deep balls. He may get, he might not put up tons of numbers, but he's a guy that possibly watch. Those are kind of two guys that I don't have a quarterback, but I'll go with someone that Jeff hates when I talk about him is Matthew Stafford.
Stafford's a
I don't even know. Who do they have this week? The Detroit. I don't even remember off the top of my head.
You got a Stafford hater in here, man?
Yeah. No, he had him like as a top 5 quarterback.
No, it wasn't top 5. It was top 10.
Whatever. I would say.
I got him in number 7, man.
But
here, let's do this.
An aging, injury-prone quarterback that high when there's plenty of other options available. That's I would say they have a decent players around him. They have Johnson, but I don't know. I'm just not a big Stafford. I would say I drafted Stafford so many years that came back to bite me in the butt. So I
will say I got him number 7 in just my real life like quarterback rankings, not in fantasy. I probably wouldn't go that far in fantasy, but just in real life rankings. He was on pace, for an MVP caliber season last year. Before he goes down, to your point, he is injury prone. I will give you that.
I'm going to argue with that.
I do bit.
He's really not injury prone. He got injured last year, but that was the first time he hadn't played a full season since I think 2010.
Yep.
So at the beginning of his career, he was injury prone for sure. But last year was the first time he really missed any time.
He went a good 9-10 straight years without missing a game at all. It's a really misconception for him.
No, I feel he has the weapons on offense with Marvin Jones and Galladay, and then they have the running back. Now I know they're throwing a lot of running backs out there, but I feel he and T.J. Hawkinson. So I feel like he has the weapons to put up numbers fantasy wise. I'm not saying he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, but fantasy wise, I think he can put enough points up on the board.
Well, yeah, because also I would say the Lions are playing from behind about 80% of the time, so of course they're gonna be throwing the football.
Exactly, and that's why I have him.
Also true.
For a fantasy matchup, yeah, I'll say for this week.
So, Jason, do you have any other cheap options or any other, almost want to call them sleepers this week that are really low there or people are overlooking?
I do, yeah. So actually, my first one is not too low of a play, but I think everybody's talking in the Atlanta-Seattle game. Everybody's talking about the passing game. I think people are going to forget about Chris Carson. 6,200 this week. I think that's a really good price for him in that matchup. And then some cheap plays that I have Hunter Renfrow at 4,500 against Carolina. The dude just gets catches. I mean, he had 25 and 26 points in the last 2 games last year. So I think he's one of Derek Carr's go-to options, and I think he's another free spot almost. I like Tevin Coleman bouncing back from the injury against Arizona. I think he's kind of forgotten as well. 4,200 this week. I think that's a gimme price, especially if you're going to do one of the higher dollar stacks. And then my last one is N'Keal Harry from the Patriots. I think he's going to be one of Cam's boys this year, and I think he's going to step into that maybe 1 or 2 role for that team.
I think people forget about him. So everyone Cam doesn't have any weapons, so all he has is Edelman. But I know they cut Sanu, but N'Keal Harry was hurt a lot last year. And even when he came back, I don't think he was fully 100% healthy. And he's a guy that they're going to count on. So I feel he's going to be able, like you said, he's going to surprise people. You're going to see him have a big week here, and then all of a sudden everyone's going to start picking him up, and everyone's going to start putting him on the roster because of what he can do.
It's funny because I actually got him as my last pick in the All About the Birds draft, literally.
you better be playing him this week then. We're on him,
and the flex, man. I'm putting him in the flex. I promise you.
So I got a weird play. Now, I'm not going to put it in my the Millionaire Maker tournament or anything like that. Throw $1 in a lineup or something. Something is telling me that Joe Burrow is going to have a great season for a rookie and a great week against the Chargers this week. And the fact that AJ Green, everybody forgot about him. He's healthy, ready to go. He's like the 12th ranked price-wise on wide receivers. So it's not even like you're spending that max dollar on AJ Green this year or this week. So at Joe Burrow's AJ Green combo, it intrigues me for some reason this week. I don't know what you guys think of Joe Burrow in general, let alone in fantasy. The Chargers have their pass rush, but their defense isn't that great.
Well, I don't know. The Cincinnati offensive line is not very good, and you have Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa. He may have an okay game, but I don't think he's going to do great against that defense. The defense is good on all levels. They're not a pushover.
I'll say real quick. I'll say for Jason. I'll say we had a question earlier about fantasy that we didn't get to address. I want to get your thoughts. Someone from our YouTube page named Miles asked, "Should I trade Joe Burrow and Singletary for Alvin Kamara or Saquon Barkley?" Your thoughts?
He's giving up those first two guys.
It's up on the screen now. There you go.
There we go. That's what he said. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's a legit question personally, because that's kind of. Yeah, no, I didn't think that was.
Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Yes, I was gonna say if you're getting Kamara or Barkley, do it for sure.
I gotta figure.
If you drafted Joe Burrow, your season's already over. Sorry.
Correct.
I do gotta say, I love that Tony from Heat Ratio, aka Jigsaw, checking in. He loves Green and Boyd. I think that's what he means this week. So I love that he agreed with me on that one.
Yeah, I mean Burrow's got some weapons over there, man.
People forget about AJ Green, Tyler Boyd. Joe Mixon.
Yeah, it's all about that offensive line, man.
Yeah, they have Jonah Williams left tackle and Bobby Hart as right tackle, and then the interior is not the best. But I said I don't
know who any of those guys are.
Yeah, I know, but
but I noticed nobody liked Joe Burrow as their offensive rookie of the year. I thought that was pretty.
I got him written down as my offensive rookie of the year.
Me too.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that's who I got. I mean, I think quarterback over everybody.
I love his makeup, his just focus and determination.
Yeah,
I love him.
Well, after seeing how Kyler won last year, when I really didn't think that he outplayed Josh Jacobs or Miles Sanders, that just showed me that quarterbacks are always going to get the vote before skill players in general. So. Joe Burrow, as long as he's playing the whole season, I think he'll win Rookie of the Year easily.
Yep.
So that's the fantasy segment. We're really good at these transitions at all. I don't know what we're rolling into next here, but probably into our do you have your Ulecka lock music ready?
Jeff doesn't have. He's not ready.
Yeah, I was just kidding. We never made the lock music here.
I'm sorry.
We're running a betting segment here. We're going to keep a running tab of us all year long. For some reason, we're calling them the Ulecka locks of the week.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's the name of the segment, Jeff. Just roll with it.
Roll with it. Ulecka locks.
So I'll start with. We'll go one at a time unless you want to do all three.
Just name your three. Name your three. Jason, I don't know if you got any betting picks for this week, or I told you to come on for fantasy, but you can hang out for the rest of the show.
Yeah, I'll hang out. I don't really have any picks, but I'll hang out and observe for sure.
So we all went against the spread. I know Phil sent all the lines, and so what I did was I picked the Raiders. They're 2.5 over Carolina.
-2 or +2?
-2.
Okay. You have to say that.
Eagles -6.5 against Washington, and the Steelers -4 against the Giants. So I have the Raiders -2.5, Eagles -6.5, and the Steelers -4. Those are my picks.
Okay. So my picks, of course, I would say probably mostly all of us are going to be picking Eagles over the Redskins -6. So that's definitely one of them. My other two are the Packers +2.5 over the Vikings. The Packers have started 4-0 have won their first game the last 4 years. So everyone knows I'm a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm not too early hyped with the Vikings, so I feel Packers plus 2.5 is good value there. And then also Baltimore -8 over the Browns. Browns are the Browns. I would say the Ravens are just going to destroy them. So I felt that was an easy one as well.
Okay. I'm going to mix it up a little bit here. I got some different ones. Obviously, I got the Eagles in -6.5. I love it. I think actually I gave you guys this sheet like earlier today.
Yeah, it's now.
Yeah, it's fine. I actually saw on FanDuel it's moved down to -5.5. But still, I think means some money's going on the Redskins there, which kind of scares me. But I'm still going to roll with the Eagles.
Well, that has injuries as well.
Just so you know, I have a strict rule when I gamble, and I don't do much gambling. I never bet the Eagles.
No.
It's against my rules. You never bet your hometown team. You never bet your favorite team. But for this segment, I am taking the Eagles -6.5. I am taking the Cardinals +7 over the 49ers. I think that line is way too high. If you win the game, it's going to be a really close game.
Last year, Arizona gave San Francisco some fits. So
yeah, I'm big on that game. I'm big on the Dolphins +6.5 over the Patriots. I know I just hyped up the Patriots all show long, but yeah, Fitzmagic is always great at the beginning. I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but that 7.5 point line way too big. So I love that one.
Washington football team, Phil. Washington football team.
Did I say the Redskins? Is that the first time I said that today?
It was like the third or fourth time.
I think I said it too. I had it written down.
And I'm going to go with the Falcons +1. Okay, and they're just going to win outright. +1's pretty much a pick'em game normally. I have the Falcons upsetting the Seahawks week 1. I'm all over that game. I love that game. So they're my picks. I got the Cardinals, the Falcons, the Eagles, and the Dolphins. The only underdog I took was the Eagles. That's what I got.
You mean they're favored?
What?
The Eagles are favored.
I said that's the only team that's favored. I said.
Okay. You said underdog.
I said underdog.
I took all underdogs except for the
Eagles.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any picks, Scotty? You want to throw out there this week?
I mean, you didn't send me the sheet, Phil, so I didn't see the the lines. But I'm sitting here looking at ESPN, getting some picks ready for you. Which I know they don't have the same odds that you might be seeing on your end. So just off looking off the top of my head, obviously I'm going Eagles over Washington. It's my squad. I know.
What does ESPN have it at?
They have them at. They have the Eagles favored -6.
Okay.
6.0. And then I am going to go. I'm actually going to go the Chargers over the Bengals, man. I'm going to lock that in. I don't see why the Chargers shouldn't handle business. I know they got some questions at quarterback, but they got a really talented group around the quarterback that can hide some of those flaws, especially with a receiving back like Eckler. So it looks like they're favored, negative -3.0. And then from there, man, it gets tough. Yeah. But I am going to go ahead and lock in the Packers, man, against the Vikings. They're negative 2.5.
I like that.
Yeah, I like the Packers this year, man.
Too. Anybody have any picks or predictions for tomorrow night's season opener? Houston against Kansas City. Kansas City opened as a 10-point favorite. It's down to like 9.5, depending. But it's actually a really fun opening night game.
I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Kansas City, I know there's no fans and it's going to be a little different, but I just feel like they're just such a better team than Houston. And Houston lost DeAndre Hopkins, and I know Brandon Cooks may not even play, so Watson's not going to have as many weapons as usually have, but I think Kansas City will handle business. I don't think it's going to be – I think it's going to be a close game, but, within like 10, 13.
Yeah.
But
I think it's – go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go.
I think it's going to be a close game, like Johnny said. I do got the Chiefs. I think they, if it was a typical Super Bowl winning team, coming out on that opening night, it would be really easy to, kind of underwhelm and come out, underwhelming in that first game. The Chiefs are too good. I don't think that's going to affect them. I think even if they come out and play, a little sluggish, they'll still win the game because they're so good. So yeah, I'm going Chiefs there. And even, with with Deshaun Watson, I was about to say, maybe he comes out and balls out with that new contract. But Patty Mahomes has got a bigger one, so that's not even an excuse, man.
For the ball today, they got rid of his best offensive weapon by trading him to Arizona. So I'll say Deshaun or Watson only can do so much. But I'll say
exactly.
The Chiefs. I'll say history's on their side. Defending Super Bowl champs always usually win the opening week game. So it's Kansas City, no doubt, with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid.
Any thoughts, Jason?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Kansas City. I don't think there's gonna be a Super Bowl hangover. I think they're too good of a team. They've made improvements to their very few weaknesses, and they're gonna be even better this year.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And they retained everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
How does Peanut's comment keep popping up here without me actually clicking?
Yeah. I see Mahomes
comments up there.
I said that I have access. I think
you're doing it. Okay. So as I click them, you're clicking them too. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say we want to transition. I would say finish up the show a little bit. Our final few moments here on the AT Birds live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Make sure to follow all those pages. We'll be doing this on a weekly basis. Also, make sure as the clock hits 0, we will be going live with our post-game reactions and your reactions as well after the Philadelphia-Washington game. So I would say we want to go in, dive into our picks real quick for Sunday's matchup. Johnny, if you want to start off.
So I have the Eagles winning 31-17. So I think Carson will throw 2 touchdowns. I'm going to go 1 to Hightower and 1 to Ertz. But I think they're winning 31-17. I think they're going to start off like last year. I think it may be a little bit of, a little rough start, but then they'll get in the groove of things and they'll kind of, make it a little bit easier. But
I'll say I agree with you, and I'll say a couple of my keys to victory. I'll say for Sunday's game, and one of them is actually for the season. I'll say one of the big things which the Eagles did not do well last year is get off to a quick start. Last season, the Eagles averaged 4.4 points a game in the first quarter. They trailed 9 games at halftime, going 3-6 in those games. When they led at half, they were 6-2. So I would say they definitely have to get out of the gate early, especially against an inferior opponent like the Washington football team. Another one of those is definitely what you brought before. Protect Carson Wentz. I would say he needs to be the one to keep him up front, to throw those balls down the field to get the big play offense going. And then another one is don't underestimate Dwayne Haskins, especially from a defensive side of the football. I would say Haskins might only started 7 games last year, but in his opportunity to start for Washington last year against the Eagles, he did play well against them, going 19-28 for 261 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air, and averaged about 9 yards a rush. So I would say I know we don't have a lot of game tape, and I would say we're not too high on the Washington football team, but Dwayne Haskins showed that he, with his dual threat ability, that he was able to perform well last year against us. And it's going to be one thing that Jim Schwartz is going to have to design to control him to make sure he's not a big play threat. But I do have Philadelphia winning 37-24. I think Washington hangs around. They always give us fits. They did put up 27 points last year against us. So defensively, I feel we have to play a little bit better, but Philadelphia's the better football team, so I feel they start off the season 1-0. They are 4-0 under Doug Peterson. He's one of 2 coaches in franchise history, joining coach legend Earl Greasy Neal, who is 6-0. So a little bit of history on Doug Peterson, the Eagles side for Sunday.
Scotty, you want to go up with your prediction for the game?
Yeah, I got you. So I'm taking the Birds 34-20. Similar to what you guys said, I think the Redskins or the Washington football team.
We're all doing
it. The Washington football team, I think they will come out with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They've been getting picked on all off season, just nonstop, bad and negative talking about the Washington football team. So I think they will come out with some energy, a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I think the Eagles just being the better team as long as they take care of the football. Do not let Carson Wentz get destroyed in the backfield. We got to protect Carson Wentz and stick to the run, man. We got Miles Sanders back there. Let him get some touches. Work him. That's what we said we were going to do. Let's do it, and let's shove it down their throats. I think our defensive line can control that game. just wreak havoc on Haskins. Make him throw under pressure, and we're going to get some turnovers. So I think those are probably my keys to the game. Stick to the run, protect Carson, and let that defensive line loose.
Yeah. Jason, you got prediction?
Yeah, 34-24 Eagles. Pretty much the same thing all you guys said. I don't know as much as you guys do about the Eagles, but I think the same exact thing. The key to the season is keeping Wentz healthy. I mean, as an outsider's perspective, that's the entire key to the season. I agree, he is elite when he plays, but you need to keep him on the field.
Got to play.
Well, you're a Detroit guy. You got a prediction for Detroit's game this weekend?
They will win 31-21.
Right.
Detroit will. At home,
Right.
Stafford lights
I
up in game one.
I guess I got to
Matt
say
Stafford.
I'm the only one going much lower than you guys on the score. I do not think it's going to be a high-scoring game like you guys. I would bet the under almost to an extent. I got the Eagles winning, of course, just like everybody else, and covering the spread. But I got them winning 24-13. I think the Redskins' defense is better than people think. Well, at least the front four are. With our injured offensive line, it's going to be real hard for us to score a lot of points and open up the passing game. But I almost wrote down 24-10, 24-7, something like that, because it's just going to be the Redskins' offense is not good. They have no idea what they're doing with the running game. Terry McLaurin's going to be locked up by Darius Slay. And Dwayne Haskins, I've said it on 100 shows. I just don't like Dwayne Haskins. He is not that good. Not at all. So I'm going 24-13, low scoring. That's my my game pick for that.
So Stafford for comeback player of the year, right?
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
Can we lock that in? Lock that in? I like him, man. I like Galladay with the whole season of Stafford, man.
Yeah. I know I saw some odds. Apparently Gronk is like with a favorite right now, which I don't even know how you can consider him comeback player of the year since he technically retired. It's not like he was injured or anything like that.
Gronk is going to realize that he had it so much easier as the 24/7 champ in WWE that he didn't have to do anything but show up once every 6 months and just smile on WWE camera. I don't know. He's not going to be the same with the weight he lost at all. So I'm off the Buccaneers hype train completely.
Definitely.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up.
But I want to thank Jason and Scotty for coming on. Joining us for our NFL preview show. Some pretty big news. Next week, we're going to have newly captain Craig James on to break down the Rams Week 2 matchup next Wednesday. So he's going to come on. We're going to talk to him.
And hopefully talking an Eagles victory.
Exactly. Yeah. Eagles victory. And also, after the game on Sunday, we go on live. So, break down the game, everything. Jeff's wife's predicting a lot. But
that was good. That was the best comment of the night. That wins comment of the night for sure.
It's a great way to end it. But just you can join us, with the chatter. We love the comments. We appreciate everyone's support. We appreciate having Jason and Scotty on. We will have you guys on again. You can follow Jason at jsully2121. And you can follow Scotty at Scotty Drown, host of Scotty Sports Talk at ST Philly Sports 1. So I know Phil makes appearances on there. I know I'm going to
just to shout out Scotty here.
You invite both of these two on shows? You haven't even reached out to me once. What the hell's up?
Yeah. Just so you know,
to be fair, they both asked me, and I was more than willing to have them. I'm more than willing to have you as well, man. I'm ready for everybody to come on.
So all our listeners, he's giving away a Darius Slay, a big play Slay jersey if he gets to 125 subscribers. I know I subscribed. The only reason I subscribed had nothing to do with me being on the show ever. I just want that jersey.
Who doesn't want a Slay jersey?
Right there.
But yeah, definitely.
Thanks for having.
No problem. I would say check our website out, aatbirds.com. Jason Sullivan's been doing a tremendous job along with all of our writers.
Scotty's going to be dropping an article.
Say Scotty's been going to be writing for us as well, so make sure to check that out. If you would like to write for us, reach out to one of us. We're always open to more writers to continue our Eagles and NFL content on there. Make sure to follow us all on Twitter at myself, Jeff Warner NFL, AT Birds, also Johnny U9322, Phil at Beer Knowledge. Make sure Twitter, Facebook, all those. And then I'll say for next week's show, we're starting 8:30. So
8:30 start time.
So
yes.
I'll say next week we'll be live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube as well. New time at 8:30. And make sure, as the clock hits 0 on Sunday, we will be doing our post-game live show as well. So,
All right. So we all good? Anybody else have anything to say? Pipe in.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. We're going to end it there.